The first one is small and medium enterprises, and the second one is subject matter experts. Now, we all know that small and medium enterprises need a whole load of subject matter experts to make you both profitable, innovative, and indeed at the very forefront of business in the UK. And it's great to see a group here today that represents those two communities combined. Because I genuinely believe within the UK, we have the most innovative, forward-thinking and truly remarkable businesses across the United Kingdom. We're at the very tip of Scotland. There's two Scotsmen who have transitioned from Scotland to the West Midlands, speaking here today, all the way down to the very bottom of Cornwall and everything in between. Interestingly, just there's 5 million small businesses in the UK. You are truly the backbone of our economy. 5 million small businesses employing a huge amount of people and 37,000 medium-sized businesses. And so everything we can do to support you and you giving us the grassroots understanding of what we need to change is an essential relationship if this country is going to prosper. And so thank you to SME and Labour for really keeping us abreast of what we need to do to make this country more economically viable. Now, in my constituency, I've got the pleasure of representing a variety of small businesses, ranging from Attic Brewery, who make fantastic beer, all the way through to Cadbury's World and Cadbury's, who make fantastic chocolate. And it's not remiss of me that Scotsman here is saying that, one, I love beer and I like chocolate as well. But to have a mix of businesses within my constituency means I get kept abreast of what we can do to help you. And it's a real privilege to represent them here in Parliament. But also I have a fantastic mayor in the West Midlands, Richard Parker, who's working on a skills-based enterprise, because we recognise that within SMEs, you need a huge amount of skills and apprenticeships to keep the business rolling, and you need that to be absolutely commonplace. Now, it won't be lost on many of you that we've got the strategic spending review coming up. We've just launched the strategic defence review last week. And it won't be lost on you that from a geopolitical perspective, in the last 24 years where I spent a lot of time in the military, I haven't seen the world so fractious or indeed so dangerous. And that's why this government is absolutely committed to our security and prosperity and to protect many of you, what your grandparents and relatives fought for to protect, which is the Western rules-based system and the freedoms of democracy which we exercise today. That's why you've seen a huge investment go into defence, significant investment, and that's to keep the country safe. But across the plethora of announcements that you saw last week, we've seen a new programme into the nuclear space, nuclear submarines, over £15 billion worth of investment and 30,000 jobs created, which will employ a huge amount of small and medium enterprises to drive that machine, a £400 million innovation fund, and up to £4 billion on new future technologies, such as drones and laser systems. Now that requires, as I mentioned at the start, subject matter experts, but the small and medium enterprises that often move far faster in some cases and far more innovative than the big primes. And when you combine the two, you end up with this unique and fantastic flavour that delivers economic success. Be lost on you that defence has been in the past quite a difficult organisation to work with. The finance is difficult to get in the defence sector. We're often quite bureaucratic. SMEs often get put off or indeed turned away or become exhausted dealing with the big machine. And this is why it's not lost on us that we've got to make the strategic defence review relevant for industry and regrow industry to ensure that we can protect everything we hold dear. And that's why if you look at the strategic defence review, the first 100 pages alone are on allies, partners and industry, because we need to rebuild a relationship with industry to rebuild the defence industrial sector, which by one way, shape or form almost implies every bit of society, and a large proportion of jobs in the UK either connected to defence or indirectly feed it. That within that defence review you will see, in the future defence industrial strategy, you will see defence being far more cooperative, collaborative and engaging with the SME base. And we recognise, and this is the most important piece, that the cutting edge of technology, the most diverse thought process and out-the-box thinking often takes place in those small organisations that move flat and fast. And so we recognise we've got to harness you, we've got to recognize we pull you in, give you the mechanisms to deal with defense in a more advantageous way, and power forward to make sure our fantastic armed forces, our men and women in our defense capabilities get the best kit and equipment to defend the nation. Thank you very much for listening to me today, and I'm happy to take questions later.